Welcome back to Holding Hearts Ministries. My name is Kristen, and today in this little series about the church's new wineskin, I would like to discuss the handling of money in the church. So one of the big stumbling blocks that is keeping the church from becoming more fruitful and obedient to the Lord's word is this infiltration of church being ran as a business with a CEO and a staff with a building, because so much of the resources are getting poured into running programs and productions rather than producing the fruit that the Lord requires or asks of us. So when it comes to the money or the gathering of the tithes and offerings inside the church, the Lord, or the early church, we can see actually the money was used to cover the needs of the immediate, family or body of Christ, and it was given to those who were in need. And then they gave to the poor as well. The problem is when the money is getting redirected into other pockets and other platforms or agendas that get the church off course of their true mission given by Jesus Christ. Now, when it comes to appointing elders or shepherds, overseers, I'm just going to call them shepherds. When it comes to appointing shepherds over individual, their own house, or perhaps it's not their house, maybe it's somebody else's hosting, the question arises of, should that man be paid for his work? Now, I understand that there could be two sides to this coin, in that Paul gave the example of not taking the church's money, not becoming dependent on the church's money so as not to taint his testimony. But then he also teaches not to muzzle the ox, and the farmer gets the first share of the crops. Now, what I would absolutely love, is if the shepherd was able to sustain himself in some way so that his testimony would not become tainted. But I understand if there are those who are traveling, there are certain expenses, okay? One thing that I believe really divides people inside the church or separates them, is the people who aren't paid to serve or be in the church, and then the people who are. So we have to be careful, because we can't pay everybody a full-time salary inside the church. That's not how it works. Paul talked multiple times. He gave warning about those who were idle. He gave a great example of being a tent maker. I would love for the shepherds to not be dependent upon the church's money for their needs. It keeps the testimony more pure, and any hint of compromise or greed will not be in existence. It won't even be an issue. All right. We will know their hearts are pure, because how they are serving the sheep isn't being done for pay. It's a pure motive and pleasing to the Lord. But I do understand there are times and reasons that certain activities should be compensated. And let me just say as an aside, I don't know everything. All right, I am one individual in the body of Christ. And the church isn't going to operate from one individual. The church there's going to have to be a group of leaders, men and women that arise, that are able to take their wisdom and their experience and their knowledge to put their heads together and listen to the Lord to help establish what all of these boundaries really are. There's much more that can be discussed or said about shepherds being paid. But if somebody is to be paid, I think the group needs to decide what that is going to be within reason and set boundaries, because there has been an overuse of the church's money given to people who've been hired, quote unquote, to take that salary. So money would be collected within that individual house gathering, and it would be the responsibility of the elder appointed over that, the shepherd appointed, or shepherds appointed over that group, and then also the deacon who is appointed over that group to gather the money. And I think transparency is really important, so the people in that gathering shouldn't be in the dark about what the amount is. It's okay to be completely honest, keeps things transparent, how much money that they put together for the needs of others or for the poor. And then the deacon is to, or deacons is to take charge of the use or the appointment of that money on behalf of that, house church. So there's a lot more. I'm sure there are other people out there that have, the Lord is also speaking to them and giving them knowledge and insight about future remnant bride of Christ church operations. And I'm only one voice, but I'm looking for those who the Lord is speaking to in this way, who the Lord has been preparing in the wilderness to serve, not from the top, but from the bottom. So I hope that this message regarding money just gives us a little bit of insight and direction on how the Lord is appointing his people to gather and then disperse his money. So have a great day.